What happened to Dani and other game devs? No one knows. Let's find out. Well, who cares about other devs? What happened to Dani? Wait, who is Dani? Okay,
Talk about
see.
where all...
We're gonna just listen to it and then stop it whenever there's something to say. If I would love to know your opinions, if you have some interesting point that you would like to mention, guys, please mention it in the chat, or you people watching in the description. I'm curious what you think.
Talk about where all the game dev YouTubers are going. Why did 2-Star take an 8-month break?
Okay, this is
Where
boring.
did
I have to
Tim
speed it up. There we go.
would go? Game dev unlocked. And where did Dani go? And also we're going to talk about where I'm going to go. Believe it or not, I am...
Well, one thing, by the way, I felt like main problem with Dani was just that his videos were... He was more YouTuber than game dev. That's just like the biggest problem. That's also why I switched from making videos to streaming, because I don't care that much about being a YouTuber. I care about making games. And streaming is much easier for me because I can work on my game, I can chat with you people, I can make some content like this, but I don't have to spend too much attention to it, and I don't have to go crazy. I can just focus on making games and then talk about it. But being a YouTuber is a full-time job, and that's really tough. Being game dev is a full-time job, and that's really tough as well. So now we have here 2 full-time jobs that you gotta do. That's tough.
The most burnt out I've been ever on YouTube, and so we're going to talk about where I'm going to go. Yeah, we'll talk about that. By the way, guys, this video is sponsored by my own course, Full-Time Game Dev. It's 50% off. So, community. Number 1, getting wish lists or getting followers on your games. So, for example, Dani's Carlson has over 140,000 followers on Steam. This is the number 17 wish listed game on Steam. Now, I'm not saying that YouTube is the only reason this is true. I have a suspicion that it is, but I'm not saying definitively that's the reason. Nor am I saying...
Let's be real here. I am pretty safe to say that's like 99% the reason why that is the case. The thing is that even if he did not get most of these wish lists from YouTube, the YouTube started the ball rolling. It got like a bunch of first few wish lists. By the way, wish list to my game in the description. Wanna check it out? Nevertheless, yeah, you get it rolling. Then Steam starts taking attention because it's like, oh, this game gets a lot of wish lists. What about I push it more so more people see it? So it starts the ball rolling, and then more people see it, more people get wish list. But that's all because of YouTube, because it got popular on the start. I mean, there is always a possibility that the game looked so impressive and so interesting that everyone wanted to wishlist it without it, but that's usually not the case. Unrecord may be a rare exception that's actually the case. It got a bit viral, but in this case it would have probably gone viral anyway, because the mode here, why it's interesting, is because it looks photorealistic, right? That's what's interesting about that game, not necessarily the YouTuber or the author of it. But yeah, I am pretty sure, especially the Carlson, the game does not look as particularly unique. So here it was clearly pushed by YouTube itself, which is not a bad thing, just to be clear. But that seems to be more the case.
140,000 followers came directly from YouTube. But I do think that Dani's massive success on YouTube, I'm talking millions of views per video, that success directs people to wishlist on Steam, and then Steam flags that game as a desirable game. And so Steam just continues to push that game.
That's what I said.
So in a way, Dani pushing people on YouTube to Steam is sort of the impetus or the spark that lit the fire.
Carlson back. Oh, you don't know who Carlson is?
That's my theory. Juju Charles, it's a similar thing, right? Juju Charles, and this is Gavin at 2-Star Games. He earned over 90,000 wish lists in 2 weeks for Juju Charles. And again, look at the view count on his videos. Gavin just posts a 4-minute to 8-minute video. It's not the most polished video footage or audio or lighting, but the editing is incredible. It's funny, it's exciting, it's a great idea for a game.
True.
And you'll notice that every once in a while, he'll push people to wishlist the game.
Wishlist the game on Steam so that you'll get a notification email as soon as it goes live.
We'll click the link in the description.
I think
And again, the impetus, the spark.
I think the Kinstar, I preferred Kinstar's style of video way more, because that was a kind of chill. Just Dani was so overkill. I just could not watch it. It was way too much. I had to take a nap after watching a few minutes. Kind of like Mr. Beast. I can't watch Mr. Beast videos. It's so fast paced.
Lights the fire on Steam is YouTube. Same with Bellular's game. I don't know if you guys follow Bellular News. It's a game development news channel. Their game, The Pale Beyond, is frequently touted in their videos.
Never heard of
I
it.
tout my own games in my videos. For
wanna
example,
check
Never
out.
Song, which was my previous game. That game had 26,000 wish lists when we launched on Steam. That's nothing compared to Dani's Carlson or Juju Charles, but that 26,000 is why that game made hundreds of thousands of dollars. And those came from YouTube. Number 2, sponsorship deals, okay? So
a little bit of a explanation why this is so important, why this makes so much sense. That first day sales you get are purely determined by how many wish lists you have, almost purely. And the kind of the rule of thumb is that you want to, as soon as possible, ideally that first day, get as many reviews as you can. I think like the minimum is like 3 to 5, and as many sales as you want. Because if you do that, Steam is gonna notice you the moment it's like, oh, this new game is getting reviews and is getting sales. That means more people will want to sell it. That means more people will want to buy it. So you keep climbing that ladder in a Steam algorithm. You get showcased on the homepage, you get showcased in the new and upcoming all that gets showed just because you got a lot of wishlist. Usually the kind of the recommendation is between 8 to 10,000 wishlist, as far as I'm aware. That's usually where you want to be, because you can expect some percentage of it. I don't know the percentage at the moment. Convert to the sales, and from that you can kind of extrapolate how many reviews you're gonna get. So you need usually around 8 to 10,000 wishlists to get some level of certainty that you will be pushed on at least the first level of algorithm recommendations on Steam, let's say. I'm sorry, maybe it's because Dani is using Unity. Good point there. Let's make a map here. Did all of the game devs that disappeared use Unity? Well, I know they didn't, but
can obviously just bring in income for someone if they want to be a full-time YouTuber, or that money can be sent and directed towards their project. So for example, Jason Wyman or I myself, we can take sponsorship money and put that money into other projects, right? Or Bracky's entire business model was likely built on sponsorships, okay? I can't say definitively that was Bracky's business model because there's ad revenue and there's a variety of other ways to make money on YouTube, but I just know that my sponsorship rates were $500 to like $2,000 of sponsorship, whether it was from Adobe or Unity or Unreal, and I was barely pulling 10,000 views per video. So I can't imagine getting a million views on a video, what that sponsorship rate was.
You get even as a small YouTuber, you get offered a lot in sponsorship, quite a bit. I never got any, I never taken any sponsorship. I didn't find anyone I would like to partner with, but I'm not close to it, of course. Maybe there is gonna be someone eventually who makes interesting stuff that works well with what I do here, and if that's the case, then for sure I'm open to it. But so far I have rejected everyone, because usually just people want to push you to some boring stuff, and it's all about it's only about money, and that's usually not worth it, because your reputation suffers. It's not worth it. It's not like I'm being like, oh, I am so smart, so honorable, and not taking the money, but nah, it's just that your reputation suffers so much that it's not worth it. I play a long-term game, just to be clear here. It's just not worth it.
Like Bracky's. And finally, number 3, digital product offerings. So guys, it's no secret that my online courses bring in a good income for me, my family, and my studio. But not only do these digital product offerings, like for you, it could be, a brush pack for 2D art, it could be templates, it could be assets for the Unity asset store, you name it. As long as you mention those in a video or there's some kind of discount, it can bring in a significant amount of income to not only pay for you, but also you can hire people to work on your game and help you work on your game. So that's why a YouTuber might be incentivized to consistently upload content, because that money is coming in from training material and then it's going into the bank accounts of team members and contract workers to help them make their dream game. And this is true for me. I've been very honest about that since the beginning. So ultimately, what's the common theme here, guys? Yes, remember we put it on the shelf. Yes, the innocent reason is people love games and they love teaching other people about game development, but also financial reasons. Common theme is it's financially beneficial, and this is totally fine. This is a good thing. And this is why it's so important to support YouTubers, not only by leaving likes and subscribing and commenting and all that typical YouTube stuff, but also just a few people actually purchasing their products goes a long way to incentivizing them to continue to upload content. Now that we know the incentives for a game dev YouTuber to post content, what's the negative side of it? It's not natural. Okay, so being a YouTuber is not natural. And the reason why is because
It's not natural, guys. Remember, it's unnatural. That's what it means.
I'm not singularly Thomas the game dev. That is not who I am. Thomas the dad, Thomas the filmmaker, Thomas the writer, Thomas the friend, Thomas the husband, Thomas the train. I'm all these things, right? And so if I spend 8 hours a day talking about one thing because I want 100,000 views on a video, you can start to feel like an android. You can start to feel like a fraud or a fake. But at the same time, it's very addicting. So this is another negative aspect of being a YouTuber. It's very addicting because you're gonna try and get that sort of high from uploading a video and getting 100,000 views to 850,000 views to a million views or whatever. And you're not always gonna get that, right? So sometimes you'll upload a video and you've spent thousands of dollars on this video. Sometimes
it's like a gambling addiction,
a month
or gambling problem.
and it just doesn't do anything. It doesn't do nearly what you expected. So ultimately, this is just not normal behavior. Talking to a camera and pretending that I'm actually talking to a real person. I know it looks like I'm being really social right now.
Yeah, but working on PC is not normal. I don't exactly know what this argument means. Seems a bit confusing to me. It's like this would be argument not about game devs, it would be like anyone who makes videos, right? This doesn't seem quite fitting here about the team.
Being social, there's nobody in here. There's nobody in this room. So it's not normal behavior. So where did the YouTubers go? That's the question. Well, some of them just got exhausted, right? David Whaley, he got exhausted.
And I'm also ready to say goodbye to this YouTube channel, Games I've Unlocked. Or at least I'm ready to say goodbye to it in its current iteration.
Tim Ruswick, he got exhausted, burnt out.
So make sure that your stuff is kind of more granular or more feeling based, or more like pillar based, what your emotion or your mood or your feeling is.
Me, we'll talk about it. David RB, that's something different. Now, some of them got burnt out. Others hit what I'm going to call, escape velocity. They're in the atmosphere now. They don't really need YouTube. That's kind of the just cold facts of it. I'm not saying that is why they haven't posted. I'm saying this is my suspicion. So Dani made a small game called Crab Game, and it was just a meme game, but it became wildly popular. In fact, it had over 149,000 very positive reviews. And reviews, they matter because they kind of indicate how financially successful a game is going to be. Compare that amount to my first game, Pinstripe, which has almost 2,000 reviews, and that game made over $300,000 in gross revenue. Now, I understand Crab Game is free, but those in-game purchases, in my estimation, they made Dani some serious cash. I could be wrong, but that's just my thoughts. 2-star games. Now, to Gavin's credit, he did recently post on YouTube, but he took an 8-month break. Why? Well, Choo Choo Charles blew up. He got 11,000 plus reviews, 200,000 to 500,000 owners, according to Steam Spy. I'm just gonna throw out a random prediction or estimation of what that is. It's at least $2 million bucks, could be more.
Yeah.
And sometimes I worry, you know, like, okay, we've got these
Probably more. That must have made multiple millions of dollars for sure. Like part of it is taxes and all that, but yeah, that has made a lot of money.
YouTubers who are just killing it and they sort of disappear. Jonas Tyroller is doing incredible now. Jonas Tyroller released his early access Dronefall game, 6,500 reviews for an early access game. That's likely hundreds of thousands of dollars. I would not be surprised if Jonas started posting less because Jonas has reached escape velocity. I think he has. Brackies, I can imagine the ad revenue and the sponsorships helped them hit escape velocity. So what am I gonna do? I was telling a friend yesterday, and it's actually a subscriber for this channel. His name is Jason, and I found out he lived next door to me. So we were at lunch, and I just told him I am the most burnt out I've ever been in my life. I don't like this, to be completely honest, and it's not because it's not real. It's not a real emotion. It's
Just don't do it. I don't know, man.
And doing it, and it's been a long time.
I suppose
since I've had
that's a bit
a
unfair.
break.
That's stupid of me to say. Just don't do it. That's unfair. There's probably a lot of finances depending on it. So it's possible his family is being living off the income he makes from YouTube. It's very very unfair of me to say that. It sounds funny, but it's not fair to say. I don't know, man. That's tough. Just I guess you gotta treat it as a job, and for a job you gotta show up. To be fair, I stopped making YouTube videos. I stopped making tutorials completely because it's just not worth it, honestly. Money, you don't get any money from it, and I refuse to take stupid sponsorships, and I don't want to make paid courses, so my hands are tied, and AdSense is like really bad from it. You get almost nothing. People who watch tutorials are not very grateful for watching tutorials. Some are, but most are just like watch the tutorial and then disappear and never heard about you again. And now I switched to streaming, just working while chatting with you guys. That I very much enjoy. It's super fun. I really like talking with you, working on the games and on tools eventually. But making YouTube is tough. Especially making YouTube successful is really, really difficult. Okay, let's finish up the video.
And so it's exhausting. So I am really burnt out, and I think I'm gonna, I don't know, maybe just offload a lot of the work or something. Hire somebody to help. But this is what's so fun.
Yeah, no, you should definitely hire a lot of people. Outsource as much as you can. I'm also trying to outsource as much as I can because my time is just not worth it. It's not worth it because of the cost. And the cost is not just money. The cost is also emotional energy you have to spend it and focus you have to spend on it. It's just not worth the time. It's like I would get exhausted editing tutorials or recording tutorials and I would not be able to work on my game. Often when getting help, the style of content changes and it just doesn't feel the creator anymore. I don't know if that's the case. We will see. We'll see. Sometimes it's the case, but often I find that it works really, really well. You gotta pick your battles, right? Like, what do you wanna do? Do you wanna keep doing the same things all the time? If so, then sure, you don't have to hire anyone, but you can do only so much work. If you start introducing more people in and you manage to scale your work, the potential you eventually get to is so much higher. Like, yes, it changes, but life is about change. And like you make that decision because you want to grow the channel or whatever you are doing more than it was before, right? That's why you're doing it. Like, even if one person kept doing it forever, it would change anyway because that one person changes. And that one person would probably get burned out. Prestige one person army. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know, man, if that's worth it.
Is that despite being burnt out and consistently being on one topic, game dev, despite being on that topic constantly, all I need is a 1 to 2 week break before I'm all of a sudden ready to talk about it again. And so that's sort of the catch-22 is you could tell yourself all day you want to quit, but then 2 weeks later you don't want to quit. It's a very disorienting passion and it's a disorienting job. Also, I know a lot of you enjoy my channel and you learn a lot and you feel like I'm coaching you along. Finally, though, I do want to mention I do love game dev. In fact, when I say I want to quit YouTube, what I mean is I want to jump solely into Unity. I want to enter like flying into a black hole. I want to enter Unity.
Unity.
I know a lot of you don't like that because you don't like Unity, but come on, Unity itself is a great tool. I love it. I don't like the leadership.
Must have a hearing problems. Jesus, what the hell?
Ultimately, guys, audience building is the highest standard of wealth. On top of loving YouTube and loving game dev, I love talking about it. Building an audience is so valuable, guys, and I highly recommend all of you do it. Despite the fact that I'm sitting here telling you I'm burnt out, you should build an audience. When I say that an audience is the highest form of wealth, what I mean is, would I rather have $1 million or 1 million followers? I would have 1 million followers any day. I would pick that any day of the year because that audience can follow you from project to project to project to project. And it is such a insanely powerful point of leverage for you and your studio. So I highly recommend building.
This is very complicated topic. Audience does not always mean an audience, right? Like, for example, if you get audience because you make a certain style of game or certain style of videos, those people are gonna disappear. They're gone at the moment you start a different project. It's not as straightforward as it seems like here. It so much depends on the audience. Audience is too broad of a term. It can mean anything. If can you pick an audience who are super fanatics into like racing games and all of a sudden you want to make FPS games, they are all gone. In that case, you are better off with $1 million because you can spend it on marketing of your new game game on your new YouTube channel, right? It depends. It's very complicated topic, and it's not possible to really say just this or that. It's just difficult. I hate Unity as much as the next guy, but why do you? I don't actually. I'm memeing, honestly. I'm just messing around. I just love spreading hate on Unity. No, not really spreading hate. I just love memeing about it. I think Unity really messed up. They made so incredibly stupid decisions these years, and they are making everyone hate them. But I don't actually hate the software. I have not used it enough to hate it. I hate Unreal because I use it so much. So no, I love Unreal. I love Unreal. I love and hate it at the same time. I just love memeing about it. It's kind of like a engine wars, you know, just for fun. I don't have a really good reason for it.
Now, in conclusion, are any of these YouTubers wrong for doing what they did? Of course not. I'm really proud of them, and I'm happy that some of them were able to take the leap and just say, nope, YouTube's not for me. That's a courageous thing to do. I'm also proud of the people who hit escape velocity. Okay, cheers. By the way, guys, just remember that the Black Friday full-time game dev sale is still live.
Okay, I don't think we quite learned why YouTubers stopped working, but good enough, I suppose. Interesting video enough, that's for sure. We're gonna end up on YouTube, so if you wanna say hello to YouTube, guys, this is a good opportunity. Wait, I hit the chat, so you can... And meanwhile, I'm gonna tell all the people who just voted no, and all of you on YouTube who are watching the video, I'm working on a game. The game is called Lost Harmony. I am leveraging you, my audience, to wishlist the game and buy it. Ideally buy it also. Wishlist and buy it, just to be clear. You can see it right here, link in the description, and you can check it out. Check it out, wishlist, and ideally get into get into the mood for playing it. It's gonna be a very cozy game where you play as a bird in a post-apocalyptic world after all of humanity disappeared.